Welcome back, peeps. Thanks for joining. If you haven't already, please subscribe and hit that notification bell so we can see you back next time too. So I wanted to talk a little bit today about mindfulness. I know I've mentioned that in these videos a couple of times, and it occurred to me that that word may be meaningless to a lot of people. Maybe it's not something you've ever heard of or ever practiced, or maybe you think you've never experienced it, so it's hard, to understand what it is. And I'm certainly not an expert in this, as I try to reiterate on here every now and again. This is simply me trying to share my own experiences with you and promote this way of thinking, the practice of this, to everyone, because I do think it can help us all live better lives. And I just want to make it as much of public knowledge as possible, if that makes sense. But I certainly encourage you to read up on it, listen to some tapes, talk to a professional, all of the above. But if you can take away one thing from this video, I want you to understand why this can be beneficial, why it matters, and why it's a practice that we, should all seek out. So, what is mindfulness? Simply put, it is learning to live in the moment, fully present in that moment. It sounds simple, right? But it's not. And that's why even people who have studied it for decades will tell you it's a practice, not something we ever truly perfect. But the goal is to practice being mindful, to strengthen our mind's ability to become mindful, and over time our brains will evolve into a more mindful state. But mindfulness is difficult to teach. It's difficult to coach. If someone is teaching you how to hit a baseball, for example, that's pretty concrete. The coach watches you swing, tells you what to adjust, and you're getting it right when you start hitting the balls further. But how do we do that with abstract stuff like thoughts and feelings and emotions and inner workings of the mind? It's hard to understand what you're after until you've experienced it yourself. But once you have achieved a moment of being fully present, you will know it and you will start to understand why it's powerful. But it certainly doesn't come easy. I'm saying that from personal experience. It's not easy. It takes practice. It takes a lot of ongoing practice. And I think that's why it's tough for people to stick with it. It's certainly hard to chase something when you aren't sure what it is, whether you've ever felt it, what it actually feels like, and what it could mean for your life. So I'm going to try to highlight this for you in the best way I know how, so you can at least have a different perspective. So can you think back to a moment in your life where you were just overran by an experience, where the world just seemed to stop turning and nothing mattered except what was happening in that exact moment? Maybe it was the moment you said your wedding vows, or the moment your child was born, or the moment you bought your dream home. Or, it certainly doesn't have to be a huge life milestone. It could be any moment. Maybe the moment where someone special told you that they loved you, or the moment where you unwrapped a just so perfect Christmas gift on that just such an amazing Christmas morning. Or maybe it was a random Wednesday night when you realized something profound about yourself or what you wanted out of life. Or maybe it was even a moment where you saw your favorite football team win, in a last-second Hail Mary situation against their rival, and you felt the crowd go wild in the stadium. Now, this is hard to hear, but I think it's important. It can also be a bad moment that comes to mind. Our hope for ourselves and for others is that, the good moments in our lives outweigh the bad, but we have to understand that both exist and they both happen. And the bad moments are part of all of this too. So, it could also be a bad moment that comes to your mind. A moment where maybe you lost someone close to you, or a moment where you were given some tragic news about yourself or someone that you cared about. Whatever it is, try to find a moment like that from your life. And I'm hoping that we all have a good moment we can reference for this exercise, but whatever that moment is, find that moment where everything stood still. All that mattered was that experience. There's a quote that says, life is not about the breaths we take, but the moments that take our breath away. So think back to that moment that took your breath away. And now allow yourself to really think about that moment. Allow yourself to really feel that moment again. Revisit it. Do you remember it like it was yesterday? Does just a few seconds thinking about it surge up emotions as if it were happening again right now? Can you feel it so vividly that you might as well just be reliving it all over again? Those moments, the moments that take our breath away, are the closest thing to forced mindfulness that I can think of. In those moments, we are mindful, we are fully present. All of our awareness exists only in and only for that moment. Our minds, our bodies, our emotions, our feelings, our hearts, our souls, we're all in, fully present in that moment. At that time, we lived it. And at that time we lived in that moment, it consumed every fiber of our being. And because of that, we were fully present in that moment and in only that moment. So, hearing that, does mindfulness make a little more sense now? Those moments, those big moments, forced us into becoming mindful, forced us to experience life, really experience it, really feel alive, and really feel that moment and all the emotions that come with it, more than we do on a normal basis. Now, examine your life, examine your day-to-day, week-to-week. Compared to those sensations from those moments like that, how much of your life goes unlived? How many hours of your week do you exist, but you're not really fully present, not really fully aware? That's what we want to target with mindfulness. No, we certainly don't buy our dream house every day. We aren't going to have huge life milestones, and thankfully, hopefully not huge life tragedies every day that force us into that state of full awareness. But we don't have to sit back and wait on those moments that take our breath away. Yes, some are so huge and so impactful that they will force you into a state of mindfulness, force your breath away, force you to feel more alive than ever before, force you to experience a state of awareness that you aren't used to. But we don't have to wait on those moments. We want to live all the other days too, and we can practice being fully present in everyday moments. And we should want to feel the everyday moments too. We should want to experience them too, remember them too. We should want to fully and truly live them too. Alright guys, my hope is that this made at least some sense to at least one person out there. Read up on mindfulness, talk to someone who knows more about it than I do, put the effort into figuring this out for yourselves. I think you'll find it can unlock a whole new way of life for you. So thanks so much again for stopping by, and we'll talk again soon. Alright, enjoy the rest of your days.